Dodgers top prospect makes his debut tonight. We got big injury updates on Blake Snell, Roki Sasaki, Tommy Edman, Teoscar Hernández. Also, Dave Roberts hints at Hyeseong Kim's future roster spot. All that more coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live.
It's time for Dodger baseball. Welcome to Dodger Stadium.
This is the golden age of Dodger baseball. The Dodgers are building a dynasty.
You guys wanted a parade? We got a parade! The Dodgers punch back and head to the championship series. Ohtani starts the 50-50 club. Mookie magic. Freeman hits the ball to right field. She is gone! Start the party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
Think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
What is up, Dodgers Nation, and welcome to another episode of Dodgers Dugout Live, the #1 Dodgers show and podcast on YouTube. My name is Doug McKain, credentialed member of Dodgers Media. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit the like button, drop your comments. You're eligible for all of our giveaways. Join the Discord channel. If you're not a member of the Discord channel, you definitely have to do that. You get behind the scenes stuff. You get exclusive merch. And if you do the VIP Nation access, it's $6.99 a month. You get all kinds of cool stuff too. You can call into the Dodgers Dugout Live, all kinds of perks. Dodgers fans talking ball in the Discord 24/7, 365. So be sure to do that. I got my man producer Noel rocking with me as always. He's looking for your comments of the show. He's looking for your questions and comments for the 7th inning stretch later in the show. Of course, every episode we start with the poll question of the show, and the Dodgers Dugout Live poll question today. And yes, of course, this is ridiculously early because this guy has not played in one game at the big league level, but it's still fun to think about. It's still fun to call your shot. I asked you guys, how will Dalton Rushing's Dodgers career play out? And 12% of you say Hall of Famer, 53% say multi-time All-Star, 32% say average, and 3% say below average. So we'll talk some Dalton Rushing. I'm going to give you everything you need to know about Dalton Rushing. It is rush hour today at Dodger Stadium. But let's get into it. It's the leadoff.
Leading off, the hottest story in Dodger baseball.
So tonight, the Dodgers, a bullpen game. Matt Sauer on the mound. Dave said Ben Kasparius could be available. But yesterday at Dodger Stadium, it was all about Austin Barnes, Dalton Rushing. The shocking decision to move off a guy that had spent 11 years in your organization. The guy that was instrumental in the 2017 run to the World Series. He started 4 of the 6 games in the 2020 World Series. He caught the final out and he kept the ball. He's the guy that got the big base hit against Blake Snell that led to Kevin Cash taking Snell out of the game when the Dodgers could only muster up 2 infield hits off of Snell's Zilla. He's the guy that had really put his grit and infused it into this team. The captain, as they would call him in that Dodgers clubhouse. And look, at the end of the day, he wasn't performing. And you can't allow guys to be on your roster if you're truly asking yourself, hey, are we having the best guys on the roster? Or are we having guys on the roster because we feel bad? Or we want to give guys jobs? Or we want to appease Clayton Kershaw? Or wherever it may be, right? And the Dodgers, they planted their flag and said, hey, we are going to do whatever it takes to make this roster the best it can possibly be. That is what they proved in the Austin Barnes move. Look, the truth about Austin Barnes, this is a sub-200 hitter, just like A.J. Ellis was when they traded him. And yes, Barnes hovers around 200. It's not a guy that's going to hit for power. And then what really was the nail in the coffin for his time with L.A. was 2 things. Defensively, he started to regress. He didn't have as much success as a pitch framer, wasn't throwing out runners consistently. And look, he gets the once a Dodger, always a Dodger card, right? It's once a Dodger, always a Dodger unless you are Josh Reddick, Manny Machado, or Alex Verdugo. That's the rule right there. Once a Dodger, always a Dodger, unless you're one of those guys. And look, there's some other guys you can throw into that conversation right there. But still, it did shake up the clubhouse a little bit for sure. But Dave Roberts said that it was a difficult conversation that he had to have with the real AB, Austin Barnes.
This was certainly a tough conversation. Austin is a Dodger for life. He helped us win a championship, caught the last pitch in 2020 in the World Series. And he's done a lot of great things in the community, for the Dodgers, for myself personally. And I just think that for us right now, with what Dalton Rushing is doing on the performance side, it's an opportunity to challenge him, expand his growth, give him an opportunity to log some major league games, and essentially give him some runway.
So look, it hurts. It definitely does. But here's the truth. He had a great run. I mean, this is a guy who came up as a second baseman. I remember thinking he could be the keystone of the future when the Dodgers had Logan Forsythe at the time. And he would go on to have a really, really solid career. Made over $17 million. Vince Scully calls your first hit. You win a couple World Series. You catch some of the best pitchers to ever do it. You make 17 mil. You've had a great career. And I hope that he is in the conversation to be a Dodgers manager one day. He's got the personality for it, always is hilarious. I'll tell you a funny story about Austin Barnes from a couple years ago, and it was at spring training, and Tyler Sear, he came up to me, and he did not like how I pronounced his name on one of my YouTube videos. I guess I called it Sire. And Tyler Sear, he was in my face. He was like, my family is proud of that name, and you're popular on YouTube, and a lot of people saw that, and I really want you to go back and pronounce my name correctly. It's Tyler Sear. How many times do you need to hear this and this and that? And I think I said he's going to win the Sear Young or something silly, right? And I got blown up by Tyler Sear in the Dodgers clubhouse. And I was bright red. I was redder than a can of Coke Zero. And it was a moment for me. I was like, oh man, I guess I better make sure that I go to great lengths to pronounce guys' names correctly. And clearly it was not right for Tyler Sear. And as he leaves, Austin Barnes comes up to me and he was like, did you just get blown up? I was like, what do you mean? Yeah, get blown up. Never heard that before? He's like, reporters, every now and then, you're going to get blown up. And that's when one of us does not like what you said about us. And trust me, we hear it from our families, from our friends, and you're going to get blown up. He's like, and honestly, Barnes said, hey, for all the ish you've talked, and he was just kind of joking, you probably had this coming. And I was like, Barnes, I'm known as the glass half full guy, right? The Mitch Lotta half full guy. And he was just joking with me. And he said, hey, no, now welcome to the big leagues, right? Welcome to the show. You got the blow up out of the way. Now you're good to go. And I haven't got blown up since that. But Austin Barnes coming up to me and talking to me, it really meant a lot. It really did. Since then, I mean, we've really had a good relationship. And I wish him nothing but the best. Everyone talks about Justin Turner as the Dodgers manager, and I would like to see that. But I would also like to see Austin Barnes be as Bob Guerin. And I think Austin Barnes has a future in this league. Bob Nightingale said that he's not going to be without a team for very much long, because I think you throw him on a team that has a young pitching staff, guys that he can help learn. And it's just the truth. It's just the truth with Austin Barnes that, hey, you got a guy in Dalton. I think this is more about the opportunity for Rushing than it is, hey, Austin Barnes is terrible. Is this a couple years too long? Maybe. But I think it's really about highlighting Dalton Rushing and what he can provide for this team. And here was Dave Roberts talking about the role that Rushing will have for the Dodgers.
He's certainly very physical. The bat has always played. That's always been his carrying tool. The receiving has gotten much better. The arm strength is there. The relationship with the pitchers has continued to grow. And all the reports that we've got on the AAA side, just improvement all around. And so with the maturity that he has, the performance, we just felt that it was the right time. And, unfortunately, we've got to move on from a player that's such a professional like Austin Barnes. I don't see any outfield. It could change, but I think that for me, he's going to start tomorrow. And I see him probably catching, 2 times a week, taking pinch hit at bats. And I think kind of the thought was to get him more familiar with our pitchers and, catch bullpens and obviously take at bats off the bench, but certainly getting starts.
So it's interesting to hear that for sure, that it's primarily to be a backup catcher. And sure, on the outset, I think that's what it is. But the truth is, if you wanted a backup catcher who's going to play a couple times a week, you could have gotten Hunter Fiducia to do that. I think what the true play is here is he's going to be a backup catcher until he proves that he can hit, because that is what Dalton Rushing does at a high level. He's not going to be a $100, $200 million player because of what he does behind the dish. I think he'd be a really, really good catcher. There's no doubt about that. But the reason why Austin Barnes is not on this team right now, and the reason why Dalton Rushing is in the Dodgers clubhouse getting ready for his big league debut, is because Rushing can rake. This year, he's hitting .308 with a .424 on base, slugging .514, a 145 weighted runs created plus. He's hit 5 home runs and 5 doubles in 31 games for Oklahoma City. And throughout his career, every time he's made a jump, he's been around a 145 to a 147 weighted runs created plus type of hitter. So that's 45% and above league average. So you factor that in, he's the 15th best prospect in baseball, and it's just the truth. If Austin Barnes was still throwing out runners, he's allowed 15 stolen bases in 12 games, and if he was doing a little better with the pop time and some of those defensive metrics and hitting a little more respectably, and then Rushing was kind of going up and down in minor leagues, then fine, you do it. You keep him there and you let Rushing cook a little bit. But the truth is, Dalton Rushing, he needs his opportunity sooner than later. And I think the Dodgers learned something with the Michael Busch situation is, hey, you got to play these guys, develop them in the show. You don't let them rot down there, and you give a guy like Dalton Rushing an opportunity. It makes all the sense in the world. This isn't a tough decision. This was a no-brainer by the Dodgers because of how good Rushing is and the fact that your top prospect just happens to be a catcher, and then Austin Barnes is struggling. This wasn't Rushing roulette or anything like that, where this could end up very bad, right? This could be the California Gold Rushing. Okay, I'm getting my getting myself the bruh for that one. This could be the California Gold Rushing, because they could strike gold with Dalton Rushing, because not only can he be additive as a hitter, balances out the bench a little bit, the left-handed hitter, but also the bigger picture here is what he means for Will Smith. I played you the clip yesterday of when I asked Dalton Rushing about his role in the show, and he told me it was to make Will Smith's time easier and to help him get to the Hall of Fame. Well, here was Dave Roberts about how Dalton Rushing can make Will Smith's life easier.
Yeah, it's more, it's driven, it's a combo, I would say, Dave. I think if you've seen how I've managed Will this year, it's been a little bit on the conservative side. And I think that there is some part of it where I want to make sure I keep him fresh and wanting for more as the season goes on. And then I see some runway for a backup catcher. And I think that, like I said, Dalton's earned this opportunity. I think it popped up very quickly. We're always thinking about how we can make our club better. But Austin's, he's been a mainstay, for our club for 8 years. So it's certainly not easy. But I think that the performance from Dalton kind of really sped this up.
So that's exactly what I believe happened, is he performed at such a high level. Barnes struggled. And then you can get a guy that you can play twice a week, right, in better situations, and the offense doesn't take a massive drop. And look, he said it there. We're always looking to get better. Now, for a lot of organizations, you don't have a Dalton Rushing that's developing and emerging down in the minor league level that you can bring up, right? Not a lot of teams have that luxury. The Dodgers do, because the Dodgers, they are the rich guys, right? They have the talent everywhere. Yes, they deal with injuries, but offensively, from a position player point of view, and when everyone's healthy, their roster is as good as anyone's in Major League Baseball. And when you have that in your system and you don't use it, you don't want it to collect dust, right? And we don't know exactly what Dalton Rushing is going to be, but the truth is, the Dodgers, they have that mansion in Beverly Hills, right? Shohei, Freddie, Mookie. And then you look at the garage. You look at the garage out there, and what's in that garage? What's in that garage, right? I mean, it's a lot of really, really nice cars, right? Nice cars, Ferraris, Lambos, Bugattis, right? Luxury cars across the board. That's what the Dodgers have at their Beverly Hills mansion, right? You don't need to use a car and drive one when you have great cars as an option, right? Here's the Dodgers mansion in Beverly Hills. All the garages, Ferraris, Lambos, Bugattis, Rolls Royces, and then a Nissan Altima, right? You don't see the Nissan Altima inside the garage in Beverly Hills, right? Especially when you have one that you can drive yourself. And I think for me, there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee that Dalton Rushing is going to be this great player, but I'm willing to see what it looks like and develop him now so that way he can have a role in the postseason. My favorite scenes from Family Guy, my favorite cutaways, is the scene where Peter and Lois, they go visit the timeshare dealer just to get that boat, just to get that little model boat. And the slick salesman comes out and talks to Peter and Lois. And then Peter goes, we're not going to buy your lousy timeshare. Where's my boat? And the timeshare salesman goes, hold on, you can have the boat or the mystery box. And then Lois says, what are you, crazy? We'll take the boat. And then Peters goes, hold on, not so fast, Lois. A boat's a boat, but the mystery box could be anything. It could even be a boat. And he ends up taking the mystery box, and inside of it was 2 crappy tickets to a crappy comedy show. But who knows? It could have been something better. And I'm willing to take the mystery box of Dalton Rushing over what's existing with Austin Barnes. Give me the mystery box that Peter Griffin opened that had the lame comedy show tickets than the model boat there. I think that is the move. And now we're going to talk about Austin Barnes and kind of his future. Look, I'll get a lot of people. I do think there's going to be teams for sure. We'll talk about that. But let's now focus on what you need to know about Dalton Rushing. So Dalton Rushing, this guy has the potential to be special. There's no doubt about it. I think when Dave says backup catcher, I think what he means is if he can prove he can hit, then it's tough to keep a guy out of a lineup. If Dalton Rushing's hitting 300 and slugging, they're not going to keep him out of a lineup that struggles in the bottom of the order. I do think that it should open up to give him some opportunities in left field. Give Teo some rest in right, put him in left. Freddie Freeman gets a day off here and there, put him at first. Because if that's not the case, then what would his long-term future be with this team? Is he going to be your top prospect? Is he going to be your backup catcher for a long time? I mean, let's see if he can hit and we'll go from there. Let's see if he can hit. If he can hit, opens everything up. If he hits, he sticks. And that is the most important thing. But as far as his prospect status, this is his scouting report from Baseball Prospectus. Now, he's 6'1", 220 pounds, was born February 21st, 2001, bats lefty. He was drafted by the Dodgers in the second round in the 2022 draft out of Louisville, signed for $1.959 million. And the scouting report on Rushing is a skilled left-handed hitter who showcased impressive offensive production across 2 levels of the minors in 2024. The 23-year-old posted a robust 271, 384, .512 slash line with 26 home runs in 114 games between AA and AAA, demonstrating advanced plate discipline with a 13% walk rate and a 20% strikeout rate. Rushing combines a stocky, strong frame with surprising athleticism that contributes to both his offensive firepower and defensive versatility. While primarily working as a catcher early in the season, throwing out 30% of would-be base stealers, he transitioned to more of a left field role following his promotion to AAA. Displaying solid outfield defense with average range and arm strength, his offensive approach features a slight pull bias, though he maintains the ability to utilize the opposite field with decent power. While his defensive attributes remain a work in progress, Rushing's offensive capabilities could earn him a spot in a big league lineup next season, providing enough offensive production to offset his defensive shortcomings. So there you have it. He is going to hang his hat on his ability to rake. Defensively, if he's passable, cool, but I need to see 280 to 300 with slug, going the opposite direction, hitting the ball hard, and he's just advanced offensively. The defense, that's the question for him, especially when it comes to role. Impact, I think, could be as a guy that just comes off the bench. And Dave kind of talked about it. It's risky, of course. You're coming off in a pinch-hitting situation. You don't have a backup catcher. Let Kike catch, okay? That's certainly an option there. So, yeah, Dalton Rushing, I think the floor is low. I think the floor is high, and I think the ceiling's high. I think that base level he's going to be able to hit. It's just finding a spot for him defensively. And look, there's no doubt about it. Will Smith, he wears down if he plays too much because of the rigors of the season. Dealing with the ankle injury last year, that clearly impacted him at the plate. There was a ball the other day that went off his head on a foul ball. And when Will Smith is healthy, I think he's the best catcher in baseball, right in that conversation. But when he's not healthy, he's pressing at the plate. He's grinding at the plate. Just look at last season. Last season, Will Smith, first 80 games before the All-Star break in 2024, he had 838 OPS and a 130 weighted runs created plus. He was 30% above league average offensively. Then 48 games after the All-Star break, the batting average dropped to 206, 295 on base, 331 slug, and the numbers just went down. A 626 OPS, a 78 weighted runs created plus, so he was 22% below league average, just 5 home runs. And in the postseason, had some moments in the postseason. He certainly did. In the DS Game 4, hit a 2-run home run. Hit a 2-run home run in Game 6 of the NLCS against the Mets. And he had a solo shot in Game 4 of the World Series, and the Dodgers lost to the Yankees. But in 16 playoff games last year, Smith had a career low in everything. I mean, 143 batting average, 246 on base, 321 slug. Last year had career lows in batting average, on base, and slugging. So this is about making Will Smith at 100%, optimizing Smitty, the clutch prince, when it matters most. So that is a major, major reason why. And then on top of everything else, you are getting a really, really good player with a lot of high upside and potential. Now, a couple of months ago, I had Dalton Rushing on the show. I highly recommend going back and listening to it because, I mean, he's a very smart, intelligent guy, great perspective, great head on his shoulders. But my favorite part was the rapid round. So I want you guys to get to know Dalton Rushing a little bit. So here's my rapid round with Dalton Rushing. Couple quick ones. We'll get you out of here. And first question I want to ask you, little quick questions here. You're playing 3-on-3 basketball tournament. 3-on-3 basketball tournament. You can pick you and 2 of your OKC teammates to win a 3-on-3 tournament. Who are you rolling with?
2 OKC teammates? Wow.
You know what? How about this? How about pick Dodgers in the show? Let's do Dodgers in the show. You and
Dodgers in the show?
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't seen too many of them play back. I mean, Mookie's got to run point.
Can dunk.
Yeah, he's the most athletic human on earth. I think Mookie's got to run point. If it's 3v3, I'm the fourth man off the bench because I'm not that good at basketball. So I'm gonna sit that one out. But I think I would have to go, if I'm taking myself and two others, I'm gonna need Mookie, and I need a big man. That's the tough one there. I think Gratterall could get the job done. Gratterall's a big boy.
When you ask any player about any other sport and who they would pick, 90% of the time the answer is Brusdar Gratterall, because people tell me he's a physical freak. Soccer,
He's a physical freak.
Yeah, I mean, I love that answer. Okay, next one. Favorite football team? You got the NFL. Are you a big NFL guy? Do you have a favorite football team?
I don't really have a favorite NFL team. I really just cover my fantasy team. Yeah.
That's where I'm at. I mean, we've had this discussion. I don't know how you could have your fantasy team and I'm going against players that are my team. I'm going to be rooting for my fantasy team all day, every day. I'm 100% with you. I've been saying I grew up in LA, so I didn't really have a team here. So my fantasy team is number one. So I totally love that one. Okay, next one. What was your very first car?
Very first car. Oh, it was a Chevy Silverado pickup truck.
That's fire. You love the Chevy Silverado. Okay,
just a pickup truck. Yeah.
So we got a fan. So favorite cereal.
Favorite cereal. Fruity Pebbles by far. And if they have marshmallows in them, it's just a plus.
Those are unbelievable. Okay, last question here. Mount Rushmore of baseball players. I can't ask you catchers anymore because you're so versatile. You play a lot of different positions. So just give me your Mount Rushmore of baseball players.
Mount Rushmore of baseball players. Wow. Wow. Let's see here. Got to go Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds is up there. I know there's a lot of talk. Barry Bonds is up there.
Did you see that wild stat where it was Shohei's season is like Barry Bonds' 11th best season, something ridiculous like that? I mean, we can talk about what he did, but I mean, that's kind of insane when you think about it that way.
Crazy, man. Barry Bonds is up there. Wow. This is tough. I never break it down to four guy. Oh, let's see here. Barry Bonds, Shohei's up there. Shohei's not. He can't be taken off that list. You have Barry Bonds, Shohei. From a pitcher's perspective, I think you have to go like a Randy Johnson.
Yeah, the big unit
up there. Yeah, the big unit. I don't think you can take him off that list. And then I think I have to go catcher. I have to put a catcher up there.
Got to show some love to the catchers.
It's hard to get away from Mike Piazza, but like I just love the way he played.
Hey, best offensive year in Dodgers history, 97 Mike Piazza. Those 40 home runs. I mean, unbelievable year. But that's an incredible list. Mr. Dalton Rushing, Dodgers top prospect. We can't thank you enough for joining us here early on the West Coast. But thank you so much, man. Have a great game tonight. And we look forward as soon as you make it to the show. We are so thrilled, so excited. We cannot wait for that day. Could be this year. We know it'll for sure be next year. But thank you so much and have a great rest of your season, my man.
Absolutely. I appreciate you, Doug, and appreciate Dodger Nation.
So there he was, Dalton Rushing. Yeah, that debut that we talked about during that interview is tonight. Try to predict his first at-bat. Is he going to get a home run like James Outman did in Colorado? What will Dalton Rushing's first at-bat result be? Pa's got a hit, his first at-bat. You guys can drop that. We'll get to those in the seventh inning stretch. But want to switch gears here a little bit and talk about Hyeseong Kim. So I continue to be extremely impressed with Kim. Yesterday he goes 2 for 2, had an infield single that he legs out, great at bat, spoiling pitches, fouling off some tough pitches, and then later hits his first home run of his big league career. Goes yard, went 2 for 2, boom. Hyeseong Kim lifts one out, right over the wall. Just great approach, lifting it. There's the hit, Selly. He got the sunflower seed shower. It's first of his career. I like there's a clip too of Shohei. He kind of knew. He knew that he hit it out. So having Hyeseong Kim have that first home run, it answered some questions. Can he hit for power at the big league level? I mean, 25 at-bats, 1 home run after averaging 5 home runs a season in the KBO. Jose Moto's on the show. He talked about how the leg kick is less. It's not pronounced. They kind of did away with the leg kick, and they made some swing changes, flattened the bat path out a little bit. The results are showing. He's 9 for 25. He's hit 360 with an 840 OPS. Had a really nice play defensively, too, up the middle. Backhand stop, strong throw. But the question is, when Tommy Edman and Teoscar Hernández get healthy, what do you do with Hyeseong Kim? Well, Dave Roberts said something yesterday that really stood out to me as far as the future with Kim and how they're going to play it with him. And what he said was, is it going to be a difficult decision? He said, I don't know if it's going to be difficult. The original plan was for him to get his feet wet, to cut his teeth. And then when Tommy and Teo come back, a decision has to be made. And performance and how he's played, it definitely helps his case, brings a lot of energy and speed. So that sounds to me like when Tommy Edman and Teoscar Hernández do come back, that they're probably going to send Hyeseong Kim down to continue to work on his swing. But I do think that what they've seen from him in the interim with this opportunity, I think is going to play a big role in what they do in August, in September. I mean, if it were me, yesterday was Star Wars Day.
Dodgers win it, dude. Kim play on Dodgers, not get sent down.
I would do the Order 66. And that is move off of the guys that you don't want to do it to, right? I mean, I think it's, hey, you got to make the strong moves that you need to make, and you got to better this roster. And I would keep Kim up, develop him. But if that's not the case, then at the very least, you've been impressed with him now. You've been impressed with him now, and I think that they've seen everything that they had hoped to see from him in this short stint. And look, he's going to get more time. The update on Tommy Edman and Teoscar Hernández is that they're getting closer to being activated, but it's not going to happen until after this weekend. Emmet Sheehan, he threw to them on Wednesday. Tommy Edman dealing with the right ankle inflammation, and Hernández, he's dealing with the groin, the adductor, the grade 1 strain he had. They both took at bats off him, and then Dave Roberts said that the lateral movement in the infield defense has been fine. The hitting has been fine with Edman, but he also said when he gets to top speed, that's where he gets a little tricky in the outfield. Running at full speed is where he gets held up a little bit. So clearly they're slow playing things with Tommy Edman. He's been in the clubhouse. He's been putting in his work. It's not going to be very long, but they're going to be very extra cautious with him, right? Because Edman, he's right in that second tier of Dodgers players, right? You got the MV3, you got Shohei, Mookie, and Freddie. Really good. And those are the top dogs, but he's right in that second tier, right? Of guys that are pivotal, that are essential to this team's success. So they're not going to risk anything when it comes to Tommy Edman. And then Teoscar Hernández is also in that category. And the good thing for Edman is Dave said that he's not going to need a minor league rehab assignment before they activate him from the IL, that the simulated at-bats that he's taking, that will suffice. That's all he needs. He did say that Teo has not decided, hey, if that's the right goal. I mean, collectively, Dave Roberts and everyone that is a part of the decision-making, the training staff, the baseball ops, they have not decided if a minor league stint is going to be needed for Teoscar. But you do have a Rancho game this week. They're playing the Inland Empire. I mean, there's a couple of opportunities for that if Teo feels like he needs that. So the good news, they're going to be back soon. It's just not going to be this week. Couple more. Blake Snell did visit with Dr. Neil Elitroch, and there was no news, which is good news. The news was that he has been approved to start a throwing program. So he's going to start throwing. The Dodgers are waiting for him to visit Dr. Neil Elitroch on Tuesday. They got positive news from that, and he was given the go-ahead to start playing catch and start a throwing program. So yesterday he threw from 60 feet on flat ground at Dodger Stadium. So he is definitely on the mend. That is the best news I've heard out of the injury front last couple of days, because Blake Snell, that's your guy. I know people are criticizing the signing. They're saying Jason Schmidt this, Jason Schmidt that. I guarantee you that Blake Snell is doing everything in his power to get back, and he's been one of, if not the best second half pitchers in the history of this sport. So that's what I'm going to bank that on. Clayton Kershaw, he's going to be back this Saturday against the Angels. We're going to talk more about that tomorrow, but Clayton Kershaw is going to be on the bump. His 18th season for the Los Angeles Dodgers. That sets a new record for pitchers in this franchise. I think it's going to be good. The arm feels good. It's just been the toe in the knee. I think he's just going to be out and be effective, right? He doesn't need to throw 100 miles per hour. As long as he has fastball command, the slider has the depth, the curveball has the break, and he's hitting his spots, he's going to be just fine, and he's going to help this team. So Clayton Kershaw is going to be back, but that's where we're at on the injury front. And then coming up next, it is Thursday. So that means it's designated Twitter day. And also we got the 7th inning stretch where we answer all your questions about your boys in blue. But let's get into it. That's coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live. The Villain Series t-shirts are here. They got the long sleeve, the blue, the black, designed by my man Noel. Then the Comet. Pick this up. These are my favorite Dodgers Nation t-shirts in a while. You got Hyeseong Kim. How about Rookie of the Year? The We Don't Give a F t-shirt, still a classic. The Shohei Hernández one. So go pick those up. Go to gearup.la right now. Get merched up. Some of the best t-shirts in the game. Go over at Gear Up and get some merch. Definitely some fire tees over there. But okay, guys, excited about this. It is Thursday. That's designated Twitter day. That's where we round up the best of Dodgers social media.
Designated Twitter, the best of Dodgers social media.
I got my man Noel. Noel, let's see what we got, man. I'm excited. You got the Austin Barnes, a lot of stuff to talk about. Let's see what we got.
Let's do it, man. Social media definitely going crazy.
We've got annoying Ohtani fan who tweeted out, Dodgers win, has a custom Panda Express number 5 jersey. That's incredible. That is incredible. The Panda Express deal. This is not one that people don't take advantage of. I mean, Panda Express, I don't know if they regret doing this deal, if it's paid off for them. I'm sure it has as far as track, but that's an awesome jersey there. I mean,
what's your go-to Panda order when the Dodgers win?
My go-to Panda order, I'm really basic, man. Go with what got you there, right? I mean, go with the orange chicken, beef and broccoli. I do like a split fried rice chow mein. I will throw in there the shrimp.
Yep.
What's the shrimp? With
honey walnuts.
The honey walnut shrimp is pretty solid. You know what though? Hey, how about Panda? Bring back the samples.
Yeah,
they're not doing samples anymore. I'm a little disappointed about it. How about what's your go-to?
Definitely orange chicken, chow mein, white rice, and broccoli beef. I would say that's my go-to plate for a Dodgers win.
Well, hopefully they get one today. Okay, else we got here. We've got the Infinity Dodger who tweets, in 2022, I posted a jersey swap of Dalton Rushing in a Dodgers uniform. He saw it and made it his profile pic. I commented that he wouldn't need an edited pic in a few years. Well, here we are a few years later, and he's about to wear the iconic Dodger home whites for real. That's awesome stuff. And that's a good swap, too. That's a good swap. Going to show you some love for that swap right there. All right, what else we got? All right, Fabian Ardaya. He said the Dodgers are taking this new evil empire stuff too seriously. Yeah, that's really cool, man. That's,
like you gotta do like voice work for the Clone Wars or like the Dodge or like the Star Wars.
Maybe a little side hustle. Yeah, you know, love me some Star Wars, man. Favorite Star Wars. I'm going to Return of the Jedi. I mean, Empire Strikes Back is right up there too, though.
Revenge of the Sith, man. Everybody, I'm gonna get some hate for that, but it's been going crazy.
That's a pretty hot take. That's a pretty hot take to not go with one of the original. Empire Strikes Back are like a masterpiece, but yeah, I mean, Star Wars is unmatched, best franchise ever. But what else we got, Noel? Baseball at ML Blights. The Dodgers have renewed Andrew Tolles' contract the past 7 seasons so he could have health insurance and get help for his mental health. He hasn't played since 2018. Awesome gesture by the Dodgers. That is great to hear. I love that. Comment of the show. If you did a little short video about Andrew Tolles a couple years ago, just his story and everything that he's been through. And yeah, it's an extremely sad story. It's not a happy ending. It's a very sad story, but it's great to see the Dodgers have had his back all these years. So that's great to see. I love to hear stuff like that. All right, we've got Mexican rug dealer at Dealing Rugs. Crazy handle there. Espresso Martini only in Dodger Stadium in Loge level bar section 162. That's a thing? That's like unlock the secret menu there.
Yeah.
Espresso Martini. I don't know. I'm not in on espresso martinis. I'm like hyper enough as it is, and it kind of like gets you up and down. I don't know. It's not my thing. No, I don't know. You mess with those?
I had one when I went to Disney World at Epcot when you like travel around the worlds. And
no, that's a good time. I love that. You get absolutely, you get schwasted.
You get very stimulated for sure. But
yeah,
they're pretty good. But maybe you got to get one to Vesia instead of his Red Bulls.
Maybe Crush is one of those. I like that. I know Antonio, if he was here, he'd drink like 16 of those.
Oh, God, man.
All right, what else we got? We've got Hyeseong Kim Hughes. Yoshinobu Yamamoto explains how he talks to Hyeseong Kim. We just try to squeeze out all the English we've got. That's pretty cool. I love that. I mean, communicating, I think it's one of the reasons why this is a great team, because there's so many different cultures, so many different types of people represented on this team. And for them to just find a way to communicate and just embrace each other, that's pretty awesome, man. And the good thing, too, is, hey, Yamamoto's on the mound. You're helping me out. You're hitting home runs. Hey, that's my love language. My love language is run support. Okay, Yamamoto 2.03 runs a game was the lowest of any qualified pitcher before last night. That was the most he's gotten all season with 4. So love to see that. All right, what else we got? Here's Jeff J. Snyder, my man Sny Dog. Man, I was on Locked On Dodgers. I do Locked On Rams. So I had to support the Locked On family yesterday. Dodgers hitters are now 7 for 12 with 1 walk, 1 hit by a pitch, 1 sac fly, and 14 RBIs in the plate appearances, immediately following an intentional walk to Shohei Ohtani over the past 2 seasons. You love it. Make him pay. Take it personal, like Mookie Betts did. He was like, yeah. Mookie was fired up yesterday, man. I love that. That's what makes bowling. That you don't know that Mookie is as dog as it gets. As dog as it gets. He's got that. So that's great. It's a great stat, man. Make him pay. Make him pay. All right, here we've got Clarissa. Okay, I'm going to give this okay. Clarissa, she tweets out Snell reposting the goodbye video of his father, and it has Austin Barnes. Come on. Bruh. Come on. Look, Austin Barnes had the big hit. And by the way, how the heck did they not include that in that video? That was the defining moment of his Dodgers career. It somehow did not make it in that video. But maybe because it was off of Snell, and maybe they didn't want to piss him off. But come on, this is getting a bruh. This is getting a bruh. This is getting a finish him. Come on now. We know that they're not related for sure. All right, what else we got?
All right, D-Mac, one more for you. This one might make you smile.
All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, wow, this is a great shot of this. This is from @MVP Show. He's actually going to be the best girl dad ever. I'm sobbing. Talking about Shohei Ohtani, and this is when the Dodgers players, Freddie Freeman, Shohei, and the gang, they were out there, and they all had the first pitch with kids from the Make-A-Wish Foundation. It was a great moment, special moment. This organization gives back and supports their community as much or more than any professional franchise in any sport. So that was a great moment. I think I heard Alex Vesia, he said to Kirsten in an interview that they were kind of bonding about being girl dad. So that's really cool. He's posting more. It puts you in the feels. It's just a great story. But all right, guys, now it's time to get to you on the 7th inning stretch.
The 7th inning stretch.
All right. AM says, give it another bruh. Steven Richter, Star Wars Andor was the best thing on television in 2025. We got people clapping for that. I have not seen Star Wars Andor. I definitely will add that to my list. Roy Estrada, is Bonda done or just going through a bad stretch? Look, I mean, bullpen pieces are volatile. I know that for some reason Anthony Bonda has been a polarizing player because some people think that he's overrated because chicks dig him. Let's just say the quiet part out loud for a second. But the truth is, he's still, from a velocity standpoint, where he was last season. he still has the ability to go out there and get big league hitters out. And I'll tell you this, is he as good as he was last year? He hasn't been that yet, but the Dodgers are in no position to even consider moving off any pitchers, starters or relievers. So that's that right there. But yeah, look, I mean, the ERA this year, that's at 4.58. Last year was at 3.08. The expected ERA is at 5.16. Last year, it was at 3.06. Anthony Bonda isn't the same pitcher he was last year, but I'm still willing to give him time to turn it around. I mean, he used to be Alex Vesia struggling early on and then figuring it out during the year. Hopefully that's Anthony Bonda this year. Couple super chats to get into. Some kind of wonderful 199. Move the Fresh Prince to third. That's interesting. Comment of the show. Give me the comment of the show, the super chat. Perfect. He wants to be the catcher. Did you guys know that his 10-year deal was the first 10-year deal ever given out to a catcher? So he wants to be a catcher. Will that change? It's possible. I think more likely it's a move to first 2.5 years down the line when Freddie's gone than it would be him going to third. And he wants to be a catcher. That's what his legacy is as a catcher. Abby Day, 499. Why do the Dodgers owe CT3 10 years of service time? Baseball Reference says Barnes still isn't there, but he got DFA'd. So why CT3? I don't get it. No one's confirmed that. No one said that, and I don't think that. I mean, if you want to believe that, that's fine. If that's how it happens, that's fine. But the truth is, I mean, yeah, 10 years service time is a big deal, and Barnes is over 8. But I think that this roster has made shrewd and bold moves. Look, I mean, you go and you don't bring back fan favorite Justin Turner. You non-tender the MVP and Cody Bellinger, fan favorite. Freddie Freeman's best friend, Jason Hayward. There was a picture of them by his locker of them smiling. They move off of Jason Hayward. And sure, if this is how it works out, it might be a little factor there. But look, I mean, you've already given Chris Taylor over $60 million, had him as an all-star. You took him from someone that was viewed as a bust of a player, and you gave him generational wealth. No, the truth is, yeah, the Dodgers don't owe Chris Taylor anything, but we'll see how that plays out. For me, my rule is this. The only Dodgers that get to decide when their career ends and how it ends are the Hall of Famers, particularly the first ballot Hall of Famers. If you're a walking statue like Clayton Kershaw is, if you're a walking statue like Kershaw has been for a long time, that's a first ballot Hall of Famer, yeah, we're always going to bring you back. Not only because you're still good, we still think you can help this team, but because, you know what? We're going to be selling 22 jerseys until the end of time. We're going to be selling 22 merch until the end of time, right? So if you're a Hall of Famer, yeah, you get to decide when. Outside of that, I'm doing what's best for the team, what's best for the roster. So that's where I'm at on that. Roy Estrada, D-Mac, can you ask Roberts to give Bonda a hug? Bruh. That's a comment of the show, actually. You want to give him the don't mess with the Johan treatment? I like that. 818 LAR Rika, order 66. Ha ha ha. We got Andy. That was a good Yoda. Prone to thrilled Nando. I am your father. Oh, I like that. Prone to thrill. Paul Gutierrez, D-Mac, is Kopech coming back this month? Good chance that he possibly does either the end of this month or early June. He had a much better appearance in the first one where he threw 20 balls and 23 pitches and had 5 walks, but he did have 2 strikeouts, gave a hit, had no walks, in a scoreless inning of relief in his second rehab appearance for AAA Oklahoma City this past Sunday. So if everything goes well, yeah, towards the end of this month and no hiccups, you're going to see Michael Kopech back. So no doubt about it, he's on the mend. You got Glenn East. Yeah, everyone dropped their Panda Express order. Is Panda Express overrated, underrated? I think it's honestly like a top 5 fast food. I mean, I think it's definitely in the mix. Is it fast food? It's kind of, what do you think, Noel? What's your take on that?
I would consider it fast food. I consider Chipotle fast food as well. So I think they're like in the same.
Yeah, put them in the same thing. I mean, the GOAT's McDonald's, In-N-Out, and yeah, but we'll see. We'll save that one for another day. Nicholas Balsamo, D-Mac, who will get DFA'd with Kershaw back? I mean, you got 60-day IL possibilities that you can look into. DFA candidates, there are some, I mean, guys that we thought were DFA candidates might not be. Guys like Luis Garcia, right? and things like that. So I don't necessarily know if there is one right now, but there are options that they do have. And you keep bringing back JP Fire Eyes in. I think that with this team, the guys that are producing in their opportunities, like the Matt Sauer types, you're showing your value. So they're going to figure things out. We're going to talk a lot about that tomorrow with Clayton Kershaw coming back on Saturday. So this is more. We've got Roy Estrada, D-Mac, thoughts on Emmet Sheehan making an appearance this season. I think Emmet Sheehan is the wild card, X factor, secret weapon type of pitcher, because when we last saw him before he got injured, he had one of the most explosive fastballs as far as not just the velocity, but the way it moved, the life. Not all fastballs are created equally. Give me a fastball that's 96, 97, but explodes, has arm side run, has some fade to it versus straight line fastball that goes 100, right? So he had a very effective fastball. I think he said yesterday that it feels good to have an arm that's working. So that definitely is very promising to hear him say that. So I think that he's going to be big. Just because you can use him in a hybrid role, kind of like what they're using Ben Kasperius in. You can use him as a short burst guy, a one-inning guy out of the bullpen. I think he's going to factor in this season just because, look, we see every year injuries always take their toll. So here we go. BC, Doug, Freddie won't be gone. I hope so. I hope he signs it his extension. But the truth is, he's in year 4 of a 6-year pact, right? So you sign a 6-year, $162 million deal. You don't know what he's going to do. You know what he's going to do. I hope he signs on for 2 more years and chases 3,000 hits with this organization for sure. Exactly. That's what BC says here. He needs at least 4 more to reach 3,000. Exactly. Here we go. We've got Glenn Ishii. JP is no better than Honeywell. Bring back the turtleneck. T-Mac. What up, El Machingo? We've got Clayton Lockhart. The Fresh Prince of Chavez Ravine is my favorite Dodger, so I want him on the team whenever they play him, wherever they play him. Yeah, I mean, it's all about hitting, man. Like the Dodgers are always going to be hit first, defense second, because they know if you want the dub, you got to slug for sure. We've got Mr. Summer Obe. D-Mac, you aware that Show is chasing the most runs scored record held by Babe Ruth? Yes, we talked about it on yesterday's show. No pun intended. But Shohei Ohtani, so far this season, he leads all of Major League Baseball with 46 runs. 46 runs scored. Of course, being the leadoff definitely is going to help you in that situation. The most runs scored by Babe Ruth was back in 1921, where he crossed home plate 177 times. 818 LA Rika. I just dropped 12 in a backhantor. Dodgers need a Wendy's deal. Interesting. Parker Lee, D-Mac, which one of these guys you think can pull a Pajes and salvage their season? CT3, Muncy, or Conforto? Look, Muncy hit the big 3-run shot yesterday, dropped the bat. He's had better at-bats in the last week, harder contact. He's gone through long slumps. He's going to get the longest runway. Defense has been down, but I still think that Muncy has to figure it out. I mean, if I told you that Muncy had 1 more home run than Hyeseong Kim and we're in May, you probably wouldn't believe me, right? But the truth is, it's been a slow start for Muncy. He has looked better of late, and I could absolutely see him turning around. Conforto's been a lot better of late. Michael Conforto, I mean, I haven't seen one nasty Michael Conforto. By the way, I just want to tell you, like, you guys have the open forum to say whatever you want. I just think it's funny. You know what I mean? I'm not mad. You guys know this is the reason why I put your comments on the screen. I want you guys to be seen and heard. And I think it's cool for you guys to have that voice like that. But Conforto goes 1 for 4 yesterday, had a single, goes 3 for 4 with 3 doubles against the A's, his first career 3-double game. So he's had his moments for sure. Carnivorous lunar activity. Emmet had a no-hitter going, and Roberts pulled the plug in his debut. Yeah, I'll never forget that really nice catch that Mookie made in right field to preserve that no-hitter, the one that he had going. But the truth of the matter is, I mean, he was not going to finish that game. I mean, he had thrown 89 pitches in 6 innings. He was going to get pulled at the very best. It would have been a team no-hitter. Couple more here. Then we're going to the walk-off. Starving _ goes. D-Mac, I bet your closet is like Jimmy Fallon's from Fever Pitch, but Dodgers version. I got a lot of Dodger gear. I'll tell you that much. You guys know I like my Hawaiian shirts where I look like I'm the manager at a local Islands restaurant. I like the polos, but go to gearup.la for some cool Dodgers gear too. Nicholas Balsamo, the roster is going to look so different by July, and it makes sense to have Rushing up with the next crop of pitchers coming up with the next year and a half. And that's the thing. With Rushing, he was in those meetings during spring training. He has caught Kirsch, has caught Gonsolin, has caught a lot of these guys. And look, no one's safe on this roster if you're not producing. They don't have a clear-cut role for you. So I think that this kind of pruning of the roster, this kind of making a bold move in May, it lets you know that throughout the course of the season, guys are going to have to perform if they want to stay with this team. El Munchingos, the Dodgers should try getting an endorsement for The Habit. Their burgers are bomb. Interesting. We got the story from The Habit in the comments. We got LSU Jones. D-Mac, will the Dodgers do something to lower injuries for pitchers? We'll talk about it tomorrow. I mean, they've tried kind of everything they can. The main issue is when you have the pitchers that throw the hardest with the highest spin, those are the ones that tend to get injured. Also, those are the ones that tend to have the most success. So that's kind of where they're at for sure. Bilal K. Luis Robert Jr. is really starting to heat up. He is. Right now, it looks like they're okay. I'd still be interested in it. And we are going to talk some Luis Robert Jr. tomorrow for sure. Claudia 11, Conforto's getting his confidence back. LSU Jones, D-Mac, will Ohtani pitch after the All-Star break? That's where it's headed right now. After the All-Star break for Shohei. Master Blaster, D-Mac likes to glaze Muncy and CT3. That's not true at all. I do not like to glaze CT3. And I honestly don't even like to glaze Muncy at all. The one guy I glaze is pretty much Shohei, Mookie, and Freddie, some of the pitchers. I think for Muncy, I can tell you what I think they're going to do and what I would want them to do. I mean, look, I think Muncy is a stalwart in the clubhouse, is a big leader. I think that with 3 true outcome guys, they tend to age more poorly than other guys. They're going to give him a chance. And if he can rake, he can make an impact on this team because defensively he's below average, right? And let's not forget, I mean, the funny thing is, I'm damned if I was one who was criticized for pushing too hard for an Arenado trade, and now I'm the guy that likes to glaze Muncy. I mean, what is it? And then for Chris Taylor, I just told you what I would do if it were my organization. So I don't know what show you're watching. It must not be this one. But coming up next, we've got the walk-off. The walk-off is going to feature our friend Hyeseong Kim.
The walk-off.
So I thought this was so cool. Hyeseong Kim gets his first home run. Shohei knew right away. And there's nothing like that first bomb in the show. And Hyeseong Kim said it was a dream come true.
Well, first, congratulations to get your first career home run. Just how special was that? And also to do it here at Dodger Stadium.
일단 MLB 첫 커리어 홈런 축하드리고요. 이게 또 다저스 스타디움에서 일어나는데 얼마나 이게 특별한지요.
그쵸. 항상 이 그라운드에서 뛰고 싶어 했던 사람으로서 여기서 메이저리그 첫 홈런을 친 게 굉장히 기쁘고 설레었던 것 같습니다.
As a person who I always dream for to play in this stadium, Dodger Stadium, I'm really happy and I'm really thrilled right now.
How awesome is that? I mean, dream come true for Hyeseong Kim. I'm hoping to see more bombs from him. If he can hit, he will stick. Metal Rule says Darth Dodgers. I like that. I like that for sure. Pretty awesome. Don Kim, did you know you consume more MSG from Doritos and Hot Cheetos at Chick-fil-A than from Panda? Well, there you go. That explains that. We're definitely going to go and hit some Panda later because of that. Also, big birthday shout-outs. I saw those. Happy birthday if it is your birthday. Hopefully, Shohei Ohtani and Dalton Rushing go deep for your B-Days. But that's going to do it for this episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. And if you really want to support the channel, support your boy, hit the like button. Join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. I mean, my profile pic is me eating the 16-inch glizzy. If you want to see that, see it on the Discord. Also join the Big Lead. That's my news show, the hottest stories of sports in less than an hour. But we'll see you guys after the game. I'm going to be at Dodger Stadium tonight for Dalton Rushing's debut. We'll talk afterwards. And remember that nothing, absolutely nothing, brings together quite like Dodger baseball. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and cracker jack. I don't care if I...
Sandy into his windup. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed a perfect game.
High fly ball.